As the amber light of the Chicago sunset bathed the city, Olivia Chen was putting the finishing touches on her architectural drawings. As a rising architect, she had already carved out a significant name for herself in the industry at a young age, having worked on numerous commercial projects. From her office window, one of her very own creations proudly stood against the sprawling skyline. "Good work today, Olivia." Her colleague's voice pulled her from her focus. The wall clock already showed 7 in the evening. This day, however, was no ordinary day. Her fiancé, Michael Turner, had invited her to dinner with his family. Michael, a prominent lawyer and partner at a major law firm, had crossed paths with Olivia a year ago at the construction site of a law office building she had designed. From their first meeting, she had been instantly drawn to his sincere character and warm, reassuring smile. The Turner family estate was nestled in a quiet residential area in the Chicago suburbs. The two-story red brick house exuded a comforting warmth, the very embodiment of the American dream. As the front door swung open, Michael greeted her with a beaming smile. "Olivia, thank you for coming. Everyone in my family is eagerly looking forward to meeting you." In the spacious living room the Turner family awaited, Michael's father, Robert, possessed a gentle demeanor. With his carefully groomed, silver-streaked hair and reading glasses, he presented an image that was both intellectual and remarkably approachable. "Olivia, welcome to our home. Michael has spoken highly of your work. I hear you possess extraordinary talent." His mother, Catherine, was a woman whose every gesture radiated deep love for her son. With her beautifully curled silver hair and the comforting presence of her apron as she emerged from the kitchen, she was the quintessential image of an ideal mother. "When I see Michael's expression as he talks about you, I can truly tell the depth of your love for each other. I've prepared a very special dinner tonight." Then, the person Olivia was most intrigued by made her appearance. It was Lucy, a freelance designer. Tall and striking, with chestnut hair that cascaded to her shoulders and eyes that held the same deep blue as her brother's. "Olivia, I'm so happy to meet you. My brother talks about you so often, I feel like I've known you forever." Lucy's smile was warm, her handshake gentle. Yet, Olivia sensed something subtle in the depths of her eyes. Something that made her wonder, was it merely superficial politeness, concealing something deeper? The dinner table was generously adorned with Catherine's home-cooked delights. Traditional American comfort food, succulent roast beef, fluffy mashed potatoes, and green beans sautéed with toasted almonds. "Olivia, architectural work must be incredibly challenging. You're working so hard in a field still largely dominated by men," Catherine remarked with genuine concern. "It certainly has its demanding aspects, but it's incredibly rewarding work. It's truly moving to see buildings I've designed actually take shape and become an integral part of people's lives." Robert nodded approvingly at Olivia's words. "That's truly wonderful work. Michael also takes great pride in his profession, and I can see that you two are forging your own impressive path." Throughout the meal, Lucy eagerly peppered Olivia with questions about her work. What kinds of projects was she currently tackling? How did she transform abstract ideas into tangible reality? What inspired her to pursue architecture? Her interest appeared sincere. "I work in design as well, so I understand the challenges of a creative field, but you've truly achieved remarkable success." Lucy's words were filled with respect, but Olivia occasionally caught subtle shifts in her expression. Was it envy or some other, more complex emotion? "Lucy is a talented designer herself," Catherine interjected, her eyes shining with pride as she looked at her daughter. "Her work was recently featured in a local magazine." "That's wonderful. I'd love to see your work sometime," Olivia said sincerely. "Of course, please visit my studio sometime," Lucy replied with a smile. But Olivia noticed that the smile didn't quite reach her eyes. After dinner, Michael took Olivia's hand. "I'm so happy that my family has accepted you. I can tell everyone truly likes you." Indeed, Robert and Catherine had welcomed her wholeheartedly. However, regarding Lucy, Olivia had complicated feelings. She had been kind and cooperative on the surface, but there seemed to be hidden emotions simmering beneath the surface in the expressions she occasionally showed. As they prepared to leave, Lucy approached Olivia. "Let's meet again soon. As my brother's girlfriend, I'd like to get to know you better." The words were friendly enough, but Olivia felt a subtle discomfort with the phrase, "as my brother's girlfriend." Yet she attributed it to the awkwardness of the new family dynamic, believing that time would deepen their bond. On the drive home with Michael, Olivia organized her impressions of the evening. The Turner family was clearly loving and had welcomed her warmly. Her uneasy feelings about Lucy would likely resolve with time. Most importantly, Michael's radiating happiness spoke volumes. "Thank you for tonight. Your family is truly wonderful. Having you in my life makes it perfect," Michael responded, his eyes fixed on the road. Olivia gazed at the night scenery flowing past the window, a quiet anticipation building for their upcoming wedding. Wedding preparations. Approximately 3 months after their engagement, the serious wedding preparations began. Olivia was bustling around, tirelessly choosing venues with Michael between her demanding work commitments. While Chicago boasted numerous wedding venues, what they sought was a ceremony brimming with warmth, surrounded by their closest friends and family. "Olivia, would you like to go venue hunting with me this weekend?" The phone call from Lucy was a pleasant surprise for Olivia. She saw it as a good opportunity to grow closer to Michael's sister. "I'd love to. I've been wanting to get your design input." That weekend, the three of them visited the Grand Ballroom, a highly regarded wedding venue in the city. The classically decorated venue was undeniably beautiful. However, to Olivia and Michael, it seemed a bit too formal, lacking the intimate charm they desired. "But I think a venue this elegant suits Michael perfectly," Lucy explained enthusiastically. "This place would truly uphold the Turner family's dignity." Olivia was confused. What they were looking for wasn't a display of dignity, but a heartwarming time shared with their loved ones. Still, she couldn't dismiss Lucy's persistent enthusiasm. "It's certainly a wonderful venue, Lucy, but we're hoping for something with a more intimate atmosphere." Lucy's expression clouded for a moment. "Intimate? Is it really appropriate for Michael's wedding to be so modest?" Michael intervened. "Lucy, we want a ceremony surrounded by truly important people, rather than something lavish." "But there will be guests related to Father's business, won't there?" "You have to consider appearances." In the end, they reached no firm conclusion that day. On the drive home, Olivia pondered Lucy's words. She could understand Lucy's concern for the family's reputation, but she couldn't shake the feeling that there might be some other underlying motive at play. The following week, Lucy offered to accompany them in choosing Olivia's wedding dress. "Women can give each other more honest opinions," she suggested, and Olivia gladly agreed. At the bridal salon, Olivia tried on several dresses. Looking at her reflection, Lucy offered various comments, each carrying a faint undertone of disapproval. "Isn't this dress a bit too plain? It's your wedding day after all. This dress is lovely, but it might not suit Olivia's figure. I think something more gorgeous would suit Michael better." Olivia found herself becoming increasingly confused and disheartened. For every simple dress she liked, Lucy would raise some objection. And the dresses Lucy recommended were invariably ornate, and the complete opposite of Olivia's refined taste. "Lucy, I really like this simple dress, but I think Michael prefers more glamorous women. All his former girlfriends were very fond of flashy things." Those words made Olivia's heart tighten. She knew little about Michael's past relationships, leaving her unable to discern if Lucy's words were fact or mere speculation. In the end, Olivia trusted her instincts and chose the simple dress. However, Lucy's reaction was clearly one of deep dissatisfaction. "Well, if that's what Olivia has decided, I suppose there's nothing to be done. But I hope you won't regret it later." The same pattern repeated itself at the cake tasting. For the classic vanilla cake that Olivia and Michael chose, Lucy insisted on something far more impressive. This chocolate cake would be much more luxurious and memorable for the guests. "But we like vanilla," Michael answered gently. "Personal preference is important, but a wedding is once in a lifetime. Perhaps you could be a little more adventurous." Lucy's opinions consistently leaned towards the more luxurious and impressive, and she always subtly questioned Olivia's choices. One day, after a floral arrangement consultation, Lucy turned to Olivia and said, "Olivia, to be frank, I think your choices are always too modest. Michael has social status, and there were other women who would have been more suitable." Olivia was startled. More suitable women? Yes, there's a former girlfriend who still has feelings for Michael. She's a famous beauty in high society with an impeccable family background. At that moment, Olivia felt her chest tighten with a cold dread. She didn't know if Lucy's words were true or if there was some ulterior, cruel motive behind them. "But Michael chose me," Olivia answered quietly, her voice barely a whisper. "That's right. But people's feelings can change, especially when facing a big decision like marriage." "That night," Olivia confided in Michael, "I heard about your former girlfriend from Lucy." Michael showed a confused expression. "Former girlfriend? What did Lucy say?" "She said, 'There's a famous beauty in high society who still has feelings for you.'" "Olivia, there's no such person. I don't know what Lucy is thinking, but you're the only one I love." Seeing Michael's sincere expression, Olivia felt a wave of relief wash over her. However, she couldn't fathom why Lucy would fabricate such a cruel lie. As the wedding preparations progressed, Lucy's attitude became increasingly layered and complex. She was cooperative on the surface, but constantly critical of Olivia's decisions. And Olivia was beginning to feel increasingly uneasy with the excessive displays of affection toward her brother that Lucy occasionally showed. "I've understood Michael best since we were little. Our bond is special. I know his preferences better than anyone. That's why I want you to listen to my opinions more." Such statements from Lucy made Olivia increasingly uncomfortable. However, she didn't want to worsen her relationship with her future sister-in-law. To be accepted as Michael's family, Olivia suppressed her discomfort. When deciding on the wording for the invitations, Lucy had strong opinions. "Shouldn't we use more formal language? Something that shows the Turner family's dignity?" "But we want close friends and family to feel comfortable coming," Michael countered. "Precisely because they're close, we should send proper invitations, especially for father's business associates." In the end, they settled on standard wording, but Lucy's dissatisfaction was obvious. The wedding day. 2 weeks before the wedding, all preparations were finally complete. Olivia was utterly exhausted, but also filled with a sense of relief. The relationship with Lucy had been complex, but she believed they had somehow managed to navigate through it. However, at the final consultation, Lucy delivered yet another bombshell statement. "Olivia, let me say this one last time. Michael is such a kind person that he might be enduring this to avoid hurting you. But please consider once more whether this marriage is truly best for both of you." Olivia was speechless, utterly stunned. She couldn't comprehend why Lucy would utter such a devastating thing with the wedding so agonizingly close. "I'm thinking of Michael's happiness above all else. If you truly love him, sometimes you need the courage to step aside." That night, Olivia spent a long time thinking alone. She mustn't be swayed by Lucy's insidious words. Michael's love was real, and their relationship was solid, built on genuine affection and trust. Olivia resolved to trust her own choice and embrace a new life with the man she loved. The thorny relationship with Lucy could be improved with time, after the marriage. For now, she only needed to focus on her joyful future with Michael. On the morning of the wedding, snow was falling lightly outside the window, casting a serene hush over the city. Yet, Olivia's heart was filled with a warm, exhilarating anticipation. Today, she would finally be united with her beloved Michael. After a long period of preparation, this day had finally arrived. In the venue's dressing room, makeup artists and hairstylists had been meticulously preparing since early morning. Olivia's mother and her best friend Jennifer had also rushed over, filling the dressing room with warm laughter and excitement. "Olivia, you look truly beautiful today," her mother said, tears welling in her eyes. "Michael is a lucky man." Catherine also sincerely celebrated her son's marriage. "I'm so happy that you're becoming part of our family." Lucy had been at the venue since early morning, overseeing the final decorations. When she reported that everything is prepared perfectly, her smile seemed more natural, more genuine than before. Perhaps the complex, unsettling emotions from before would finally resolve themselves starting today. Olivia desperately hoped so. It was time to put on the wedding dress. The simple gown Olivia had chosen beautifully complemented her figure. The lace sleeves were exquisitely elegant, and the long train spread gracefully across the dressing room floor, a shimmering pool of white. "It's really lovely," Jennifer exclaimed admiringly. "When Michael sees you, he'll surely be speechless." Olivia stood in front of the mirror, looking at herself. She was indeed beautiful. But more than the dress itself, the radiant, happy expression on her face seemed to shine with an inner light. "Let's take some photos," Catherine suggested. "We must record this beautiful moment." The photographer took many pictures. Olivia posed with her mother, with Catherine, with Jennifer, and alone. There was still an hour before the ceremony was to begin, but all preparations were complete. "Let's rest a bit," her mother said. "You should have some quiet time before the ceremony." Left alone in the dressing room, Olivia gazed out the window. The snow had stopped, but the sky was covered with heavy gray clouds. However, her heart felt clear and unburdened. At 2 p.m., exactly 30 minutes before the ceremony was scheduled to commence, Olivia was making final adjustments to her appearance. The bouquet was made of delicate white roses and baby's breath, simple yet exquisitely elegant. At that moment, the dressing room door burst open with a sudden jarring force. Michael rushed in, out of breath. His face was ghostly pale, and beads of sweat glistened on his forehead. "Michael, what's wrong?" Olivia was utterly surprised. It was considered bad luck for the groom to see the bride before the ceremony, but more than that, his frantic condition was truly alarming. "Olivia!" Michael gasped, grabbing her hands. They were trembling. "The ceremony is canceled. We need to get out of here right now." Olivia couldn't comprehend what was happening. "Why? The ceremony is about to start." Tears welled up in Michael's eyes. "I'll explain later. We need to leave here immediately." "But all the guests are waiting. Your parents, too." "I'll explain to my parents later. Right now, your safety is the absolute top priority." Seeing Michael's grim, resolute expression, Olivia finally understood the gravity of the situation. He wasn't joking. Something truly dangerous was happening. "I understand, but in this dress? Just as you are. Let's go now." Michael took Olivia's hand and tried to leave the dressing room. However, the long, elaborate train of her dress made walking difficult. "Wait." Olivia quickly lifted up the train. "Now it's fine." The two hurried towards the back exit of the venue. Fortunately, the guests were gathered in the front lobby, so no one saw them. However, they unexpectedly encountered Catherine on the way. "Michael? Olivia? Where are you going?" "Mom, I'll explain later. This is an emergency." "Emergency? What happened?" "It's about Lucy. I'll explain in detail later, so please let us go now." Catherine's face went ashen. "What did Lucy do?" "I'll talk to you later." Michael patted his mother's shoulder lightly and went outside with Olivia. In the parking lot, Michael started the car engine with a roar. Olivia squeezed into the passenger seat, pushing her wedding dress into the car in a crumpled heap. "Michael, what happened?" "Tell me." Michael started driving, his voice trembling as he spoke. "It's about the cake. I saw Lucy doing something in the kitchen." "The cake?" "Before coming to see you, I was doing a final check of the preparations. Then I saw Lucy sprinkling some white powder on the wedding cake in the kitchen." Olivia gasped, a cold dread creeping over her. "White powder?" At first, I thought it was sugar or something harmless, but her expression was abnormal. And when I called out to her, she hastily tried to hide a small bag. "No way." Olivia's voice was shaking uncontrollably. I instinctively sensed grave danger. When I thought about Lucy's recent strange behavior, everything connected. Michael drove purposefully towards a safe place, clearly heading to the police station downtown. "But why would Lucy—" Olivia couldn't believe it, her mind reeling. "Think about all her behavior up to now," Michael urged. "Her abnormal opposition to your choices, her excessive displays of affection toward me, and what she said to you last night. Olivia remembered last night, the eve of the wedding. After the final consultation, Lucy had approached her. Tomorrow is the most important day of Michael's life. I pray nothing goes wrong. Her expression at that time was eerie in retrospect, as if she were plotting something sinister. I came out of the kitchen and rushed straight to you. If I had been even a little later... Michael's voice broke off, choked with emotion. We were about to eat that cake. Olivia shuddered with overwhelming fear. That's right, and traditionally the bride and groom eat the cake first. Olivia's whole body trembled violently. If Michael hadn't noticed, she might have ingested poison, and in the worst case, she might not have survived. Let's call the police. Michael took out his cell phone. But the evidence... What I saw is evidence, and we can probably determine what substance she mixed into the cake. Michael called the police. This is an emergency. We suspect poison was put in food at a wedding venue. Olivia stared out the window, trying to process the horrifying reality of what had just unfolded. Lucy's abnormal behavior, her thinly veiled hostility toward Olivia, and her pathological love for her brother. Everything had been leading to one terrible, calculated plan. Why? Olivia whispered, tears blurring her vision. Why did she try to kill me? Michael drove with one hand, holding Olivia's trembling hand with the other. I don't know, but you're safe. That's what matters most right now. The two remained silent until they reached the police station. Olivia was struggling to accept the terrifying reality that she could have died, and she felt a profound, overwhelming gratitude to Michael for saving her life. Thank you, she said quietly, her voice hoarse. If you hadn't noticed, I couldn't lose you. Michael answered tearfully. You are my life itself. The two parked their car in the police station parking lot. The sight of a bride in a wedding dress and a groom in a tuxedo drew curious stares from passers-by. However, for them, such trivial things didn't matter now. The investigation. The interrogation room at the police station was cold, with harsh fluorescent lights reflecting off the sterile white tile floor. Olivia was still wearing her elaborate wedding dress, sitting silently next to Michael. Detective Dodson, a grizzled veteran who had listened intently to their testimony, immediately dispatched a forensics team to the venue. Mr. Turner, could you explain in detail once more what you saw your sister doing in the kitchen? Michael took a deep, shaky breath and recounted, Around 2 p.m., I looked into the kitchen for a final check. There, I saw Lucy sprinkling a white, powdery substance on the wedding cake. What was your sister's demeanor at that time? It was abnormal. Normally, she would have greeted me with a smile when I came in, but she was frantically trying to hide something. And when I called out to her, she was clearly agitated, almost panicked. An hour later, the forensics team called in. Detective Dodson hung up the phone and looked at the two with a grave expression. Cyanide compounds were detected in the wedding cake. The concentration was near lethal levels. Olivia felt dizzy, her vision swimming. If she had eaten that cake, she would have certainly died. Michael supported her shoulders and gently rubbed her back, a silent comfort. Also, the same cyanide compounds were found in the apartment of the suspect, Lucy Turner. We're currently securing her. 2 hours later, Lucy was brought to the police station in handcuffs. Olivia could see her from the interrogation room window. That beautiful chestnut hair was disheveled, and her usual elegant appearance was disturbingly disturbed. However, what was most shocking was the unsettling light of madness dwelling in her eyes. I'd like to meet with her if that's possible, Olivia requested, her voice firm despite her inner turmoil. Detective Dodson, it might be dangerous, but it's possible with a lawyer present. Michael said worriedly, his grip tightening on Olivia's hand. Olivia, you don't have to push yourself. But I want to know why she tried to kill me. The confrontation. The interview room was narrow, stark, and separated by thick, soundproof glass. Lucy sat in a chair, her hands cuffed to the table. When Olivia sat down opposite her, Lucy slowly looked up, her gaze unsettlingly calm. Olivia? Lucy's voice was unexpectedly level. I didn't think you'd come. Why? Olivia asked directly, her voice cutting through the silence. Why did you try to kill me? Lucy smiled. It wasn't the refined, almost elegant smile from before, but somehow twisted, a chilling grimace. Don't you really understand? No, I don't understand. I wanted to get along with you. As Michael's sister. As family. Family? Lucy's voice suddenly became sharp, laced with a venomous edge. To me, Michael is more than family. He's my everything. Olivia felt a cold chill run down her spine. He's your brother. Brother? Lucy laughed, a harsh, brittle sound. Our bond is too deep to be expressed by such inadequate words. Since I was little, I've only ever looked at Michael. His smile, his kindness, everything about him was mine. But that's normal sibling love? Normal? Lucy's eyes blazed with a manic light. My love isn't normal. I love Michael as a woman, as a person. Olivia was speechless, utterly stunned. Lucy's confession was far beyond her wildest imagination, a plunge into a horrifying abyss. Until you appeared, Michael only looked at me. Of course, he dated other women, but those were temporary, passing infatuations. But you were different. I could tell his feelings for you were serious. So Dot. So, you tried to kill me? Kill? Lucy shook her head, a strange serenity on her face. I was just trying to eliminate you, so Michael would come back to me. It's the same thing, Olivia said angrily, her voice rising. Putting poison in food? At first, I was thinking of other methods to make you give up. I planned various forms of harassment. During the wedding preparations, I kept denying your choices to make you lose confidence, to break your spirit. Now, Olivia understood everything with chilling clarity. The venue selection, the dress selection, the cake selection. She understood why Lucy had objected to everything, why every choice she made was subtly undermined. But you still didn't give up, and Michael wouldn't let you go either, so I chose the last resort. Last resort? Poisoning? If you had died at the wedding, Michael would have been deeply hurt. But with time, I could have comforted him, and eventually I would have been the only one to support him. Lucy's twisted logic was completely flawed, delusional even. However, her twisted affection was chillingly real. You're sick, Olivia said quietly, her voice tinged with both horror and pity. Your feelings for Michael have been distorted into an abnormal, dangerous form. Sick? Lucy was instantly enraged, her composure shattering. Is loving someone a sickness? I love Michael more than anyone else. It's a deep love that an outsider like you could never comprehend. Outsider? I'm his fiancé. Fiancé? Lucy laughed derisively, a harsh, mocking sound. You're still a stranger in the end. It's different from me, connected by blood. I have the same blood flowing through me as Michael. Born into the same family, raised under the same roof. Someone who came later like you can't break the bond between us. Olivia understood. To Lucy, blood relation was the ultimate proof of love, an unbreakable chain. However, that wasn't love. It was a dark, consuming obsession. Michael loves me, Olivia said with conviction, her voice gaining strength. And I love him. Blood connections don't matter. Love? Lucy scoffed, a sneer twisting her lips. What do you know about Michael? His childhood dreams, his first love, his favorite music, foods he dislikes. Do you know everything? There's a lot I don't know, but that's something you learn over time. That's part of building a life together. Over time? Lucy stood up, rattling her handcuffs. I've lived with Michael for 26 years. You'll never catch up to the experiences I have with him. But those are experiences as family, not as a lover. Lover? Lucy's eyes blazed again with that unsettling light. I already told you I love Michael as a woman. I should be his true lover. Olivia felt a primal fear. Lucy's affection had already exceeded all normal bounds, straying into the territory of dangerous delusion. You're wrong. Olivia stood up, her stance firm. Love means wishing for the other person's happiness. What you're doing is restraining Michael and denying his choices. Restraining? Lucy laughed, a chilling, mirthless sound. I'm protecting him from unsuitable women like you. Unsuitable? That's right. You're not worthy of his social status. Your education, your family background, everything is mediocre. Olivia was deeply hurt by the cruel words, but at the same time, a fierce anger welled up inside her. Michael loves me. That's all that matters. Love changes, Lucy said coldly, her voice devoid of emotion. But blood connections never change. The visiting time was over. Olivia stood up and looked at Lucy one last time, a profound sadness mixed with resolve in her eyes. You're wrong. True love is setting the other person free. What you're doing isn't love. It's control. Control? Lucy rattled her handcuffs, a defiant sneer on her face. I'm in love more deeply and purely than anyone else. Olivia left the interview room, the echo of Lucy's chilling words ringing in her ears. Michael was waiting in the hallway and immediately embraced her, holding her tightly. Were you okay? I'm fine, Olivia answered, her voice still trembling slightly. But she really is sick. Her feelings for you have been distorted into an abnormal, dangerous form. Michael sighed deeply, a heavy weight on his shoulders. I should have noticed the abnormality in her behavior. Nobody noticed. On the surface, she was just a normal sister. But now that I think about it, there were signs since childhood. Her dependence on me was abnormally high, and she hated when I talked to other girls. The two left the police station. It was already dark outside, the city lights shimmering against the evening sky. This day was supposed to have been their wedding day, the happiest day of their lives, but it was ending in a completely different, horrifying way. Olivia. Michael took her hand, his voice thick with emotion. I almost lost you. That was what scared me most. But thanks to you noticing, I'm alive. Let's become a real family, Michael said, tears welling in his eyes. Blood connections don't matter. The feelings of loving and supporting each other. That's what makes a true family bond. Olivia nodded, tears streaming down her own face. Through today's traumatic events, she had learned the very same truth. Lucy would face judgment in court. However, Olivia and Michael would overcome this profound trial and be bound by an even stronger, unbreakable connection. Having learned the stark difference between true love and its dark, false counterpart, the two were ready to begin a new life together. The trial and resolution. 6 months later, the verdict for Lucy Turner was handed down at the Chicago District Court. She received a sentence of 3 years in prison with 5 years probation for attempted murder. Robert and Catherine were present in the courtroom, their faces etched with grief and disbelief. The two parents were deeply shocked by their daughter's crime, but never abandoned her. She's been granted probation on the condition that she receives psychiatric treatment, the lawyer explained. However, she's prohibited from approaching the victims. Lucy had tried to justify her actions until the very end in court. I was just loving my brother. If that's a crime, I'll gladly accept the punishment. After the verdict, Olivia and Michael met with Robert and Catherine. The aging parents were consumed with deep, crushing guilt. Olivia, we're truly, truly sorry. Catherine apologized through tears. We should have noticed our daughter's abnormality. You bear no responsibility, Olivia answered gently, her voice full of understanding. No one could have predicted this. Robert also bowed his head deeply, his shoulders slumped. We wanted to welcome you as family. I'm truly sorry it turned out this way. We are family. Michael placed his hand on his father's shoulder, a gesture of unwavering support. Lucy's actions cannot break our bond. However, reality was harsh. Although Lucy received psychiatric treatment, her obsessive fixation on her brother wasn't completely cured. She repeatedly said at the treatment facility, "Michael will come back to me someday." She also lost her work as a freelance designer, and social reintegration proved extremely difficult, almost impossible. Meanwhile, Olivia and Michael decided to hold their wedding ceremony at a small, charming church. This time, it was truly a heartwarming, intimate ceremony, surrounded only by people who genuinely loved and supported them. This time, no one will interfere. Michael took Olivia's hand at the altar, his eyes shining with pure love. "We're here, having overcome profound trials." Olivia smiled, her heart full. There couldn't be a stronger bond. There were only 30 guests: Olivia's family, Michael's parents, and their truly closest friends. Lucy wasn't present, but no one mourned her absence. Her shadow had been lifted. "To protect the one I love." "Michael saved my life," Olivia said in her vows, her voice clear and strong. "Now it's my turn to protect this love." Not blood connections, but emotional connections are the true proof of family, Michael answered powerfully, looking into her eyes. "Olivia, I want to build a new family, a true family, with you." After the ceremony, a small, joyful reception was held. Catherine approached Olivia with tears in her eyes, but these were tears of relief and gratitude. "You're truly a strong woman. Even after everything that happened, you still accept us as family." "We were family from the beginning, Catherine." Olivia embraced her, a silent promise in the gesture. "No matter what happens, that won't change." A year later, Olivia and Michael were blessed with their first child, a beautiful little girl who had inherited Michael's striking blue eyes. "I want to give this child a home filled with boundless love," Olivia said, holding the baby close. "Let's teach her the wonder of a family bound by love, not by the superficiality of blood." Michael held his daughter's tiny hand, a profound sense of peace settling over him. Lucy sent a letter once from the treatment facility. It said, "I wish for my brother's happiness," but the chilling undercurrent of obsession still lurked within the text. After reading the letter, Olivia and Michael quietly disposed of it. "I hope she'll someday be truly healed," Olivia said, gazing out the window at their peaceful garden. "But that's not our responsibility." Michael put his arm around her shoulders, a protective gesture. "What's important is that we protect our own happiness." 3 years passed. Olivia and Michael's home became a warm, vibrant place, overflowing with love and laughter. A second child was born, making them a family of 4, complete and content. "What do you think we learned from all this?" Olivia asked Michael one quiet night, as their children slept soundly. "That family is created not by blood connections, but by emotional connections," Michael answered immediately, his eyes reflecting a deep understanding. "And that true love doesn't restrain the other person, but sets them free. Lucy said she loved you while trying to restrain you, but you set me free, and I set you free too. That's what real love is." Olivia nodded, a gentle smile gracing her lips. The profound trial that began with that terrible wedding day had ultimately forged their love into something infinitely deeper and stronger. Family, they had learned, was built through daily acts of love, unwavering trust, and caring for each other. Even with blood relationships, without love, it wasn't true family. And even without blood connections, with genuine love, the strongest, most enduring bonds could be formed. Olivia and Michael had learned this precious truth through their harrowing experience and vowed to pass it on to their children. As they watched the new generation grow up in a home truly filled with love, the two quietly savored their hard-won happiness,